Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Greg from East Coast Dice, and I've got another installment of my series Head to Head, where I take two heads that you guys always ask me which one should get, and I compare them directly to one another. So today I've got the Warrior Evo 3, their newest Evo series, and the STX Stallion, one of their newest heads, which is modeled after Kyle Harrison, so the K team, the newest head of the K team series. So the Evo 3 and the Stallion, both relatively new heads. They both cost $90 on Lacrosse.com, and the Evo 3 weighs 5 ounces. The Stallion weighs 4.9 ounces. So really the exact same on those. I've actually strung up quite a few of these. Never personally played with one extensively, but I play with the Lakota, which is a lot like a Stallion. So I do have a little experience there. And I've also played with a lot of the Evo series, and they're all very similar. So get started with the stringing. Clearing away, I would say that the Stallion is easier to string. You can see just how many string holes it has. Not too many, but really what I consider to be the perfect amount. And there's plenty to string up any kind of pocket you want. They're really frequent, so you're never going to find yourself reaching for a sidewall hole or having to change up whatever pattern you want to use to adjust it to the sidewall holes. And it's got these really nice long rectangular sidewall holes up at the top, so you can put multiple strings through the top when you're doing your top string without having to worry about the knot slipping through. The one thing I don't like about stringing it is in the top string. You can see this first top string hole is the one you'll string it through, but there's this really thick lip here that you have to go across when you're stringing your top string on that first one. It just makes it a little bit awkward. It's not a big deal, and you can certainly get around it. But Stallion, very easy to string. The pinch lends itself to stringing mid pockets for midfielders very well. And so the Evo 3, while I don't pick it to be the superior head to string in this case, that doesn't mean it's hard to string. I've strung quite a few of these, and they're really nice to string. And you can also string a mid pocket for a nice midfield pocket in one of these relatively easily. You can see there are a number of sidewall holes, certainly not as frequent as the Stallion, but frequent enough. And I've been able to string up some pretty nice pockets in these Evo 3s. One thing that's pretty cool about the Evo 3s is they come in that dual shot color molding process, so you can get this jewel here in a different color. They call it a jewel. Kind of weird, but and you can get these the little sidewall design in a different color as well. And so that's pretty cool. They've done some interesting things with that, like the two-face and the neon edition, where you get one color on this side and another color on this side and another color on the jewel. So that's pretty cool. The Stallion does come in colors, but only solid colors. A lot of you probably seen Kyle Harrison's neon green one, and that's pretty cool. I've actually strung a Stallion with a Kyle Harrison replica, and it turned out really nice. Now I'll talk about the overall shape of the head. In that case, I also prefer the Stallion. For the overall shape of the head, you can see it's pretty thin. These are both high school versions, but very thin through the throat with a pretty gradual pinch that starts maybe 2/3 up the head, a little bit higher. But next to the Evo 3, you can see right away how much wider the Evo 3 is. It's a much gradual pinch where you can see it flares out very gradually from the bottom. It's never all that thin at the bottom, and flares out about halfway up the head. So just putting them right next to each other, you can see the pinch at the bottom is a little tighter on the Stallion, and that the flare is a little bit more abrupt than the Evo 3. And that just lends itself more to stringing a high pocket and a mid-high pocket easier. The offsets are relatively the same, both not super offset heads. You can see it just offsets a little bit there, dips down, and the Stallion very much the same, a little bit higher, but pretty shallow offset. The Stallion was originally made as, I guess, supposed to be for a face-off head, and it's got something called the C-channel technology or something like that, which has to do with this bottom rail here. And I'm not sure exactly what it was designed for, maybe to make the head snap in place easier, or snap back in place after a face-off easier, but of the two, the Evo 3 is definitely more rigid than the Stallion through the pinch point, which I guess is good if you're going to use the Stallion for face-off. This feels very, very rigid. I wouldn't recommend using this for face-off, but that does also mean that the Evo 3 might be a good fit for maybe a D-midi or also a defenseman as opposed to the Stallion. But overall in this matchup, they are the same price, and for that price, I would definitely pick the Stallion over the Evo 3. It's a pretty close matchup. I've never been a huge fan of the Evo series. I think they're too wide for my string style, my playing style, but still a very solid head. But in the head-to-head between the Warrior Evo 3 and the STX Stallion, I would pick the Stallion. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe for more string videos and tutorials, and like us on Facebook.